All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for your patience. I believe we are good to go now. Hi, my name is Rebecca Sutton. I am one of the administrators here. I support students with last names N through T, and I am also one of your two senior class administrators. Miss Olga Shapiro is with us tonight as well, but she is currently on her way home because she caught some of the girls' basketball game this evening. So she'll be joining us very shortly. I'm also joined by Dan Janis, who is our graduation coordinator, Madison Petro, who is our senior class SGA advisor, and Aaliyah May, who is here to answer your questions regarding things from the counseling office. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and will be posted shortly on the class of 2024 information page, not this evening, but hopefully this week. So again, this meeting is being recorded. If you missed anything and need to go back, you are welcome to do so. Please note that for this meeting, we will be using the Q&A function. So on your Zoom screen, you should see a link or a little button with two speech bubbles that says Q&A. As we go, you are welcome to ask questions in the Q&A. We will try to answer those throughout the meeting. We may touch on some of it in our presentation already. And then at the end of the meeting, if there's time, we will go back and review the frequently asked questions and the patterns of questions that came up. All right, so this evening we will be talking for you about some important points of contact, ways to finish senior year strong, how you can support your students with that, some important dates you need to know for the end of the year, prom information, senior materials collection, graduation information, some answers to frequently asked questions, and then, as I said, we'll have some time at the end for additional questions through the Q&A. I'm going to pass things over now to Miss May, who is going to speak to you about ways to finish senior year strong.
Good evening, everybody. So to finish senior year strong, the first thing we recommend is complete those SSL hours. Everyone needs 75 hours to graduate, and sometimes there's a handful of students who do not meet that requirement just due to missing hours. They're unable to graduate. So we want to avoid that. Keep grades strong. 10 to 15 students per year do not graduate due to failing grades. So we make sure as counselors to work with the students to make sure that the grades are checked, maintained, and they're on track to graduation. We check this regularly through Synergy. To stay in touch, communication with teachers, counselors, and administrators every day, every week, as much as possible is only going to help your student be on the path to success. And then to pay financial obligations. So parent guardians can check their school cash online accounts for financial obligations, and outstanding obligations will prevent your student from going to prom and receiving graduation tickets. So we really do recommend that those accounts are checked and active with access, and then that way we don't have a problem in May.
Thank you very much. Just fixing one more technical glitch for us, and we'll be on to the next slide. So my apologies for that. All right. Thank you, everyone. I think everybody is in and fully good to go now. I wanted to share a few points of contact with you, just so you know who you can go to. As I mentioned, Ms. Shapiro and I are both, while we each have our own alphabet of students we support, we also both support the senior class activities. So we are your go-to people in the administrative office for questions about prom, graduation, end of year stuff for seniors. In addition to that, Ms. Petro, who is on this call, is the person you will want to go to if you have questions about things relating to prom and other fun senior activities that are through our SGA. Mr. Janis, who's on this call, will be your main point of contact for graduation items. He is our graduation coordinator, and he has done this for a few years now, so he's a kind of a pro at it at this point. Ms. Williams, she's not on this call tonight, but she is someone you've probably interacted with before in the school financial specialist office. If you find that you have difficulty with your school cash online account or being able to see things about your obligations, she is the person you want to go to. And then Maureen Bonner, who is our registrar, is the person to go to with questions about mid-year transcripts, end-of-year transcripts, last minute questions about getting official records to college and other programs and things after graduation. And as I mentioned, we will be posting this video and also these slides. So please don't feel stressed about writing all this down. All of this information will be available for you on that class of 2024 information page. A few other ways to stay involved. Synergy Mail is an important piece. The class of 2024 remind. Now, we do send messages out just to all parents of seniors. However, we know that there are some seniors who, because of little things like maybe they didn't pass their English class last year, so even though they're all caught up on everything else, they're currently taking English 11B along with English 12B, and as a result, they're showing in the system as an 11th grader. When I send a mass message to students who are in 12th grade, because it's listed as grade, they would not automatically get that. So we're asking everybody to please join that class of 2024 remind, so we can make sure that everybody who is a class of 2024 parent who's getting ready for graduation can see what they need. We also post about most of the things on the website and all of our socials, so that if you missed an email or something like that, you might see a post on our socials that says, hey, class of 2024 parents, check your email because we just sent out this important information that you really want. There's always the class of 2024 Instagram and Twitter, which is run by, that's the SGA. We have our daily announcements, those get sent out. We have the PTSA listserv is a great place to connect with other parents, and that will be relevant when we get to talking about graduation tickets. You can also email your students' teachers directly, or their counselor and administrator directly, or really any of the points of contact from the previous slide. When in doubt, email one of us on this call and we will point you in the right direction to get the information you need. And I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Petro now to speak about, oh, sorry, I have important dates first, and then it's Ms. Petro. Important dates coming up. You may have noticed our testing schedule is a little bit different this year. Our IB testing actually starts earlier than it normally does. It is starting April 24th, significantly earlier than it has previously, and it lasts all the way until May 17th. AP testing then starts on May 1st. That actually runs for 2 weeks. However, in that window is also the Maryland primary election, and because all school sites are used as testing or as election sites, polling sites on the primary election day, we can't run the AP exams on that day. So those exams actually get moved to the late window. And so some of those are even on May 24th, which is the last day for seniors. So the testing schedule is a little bit weird this year. We've tried everything we can to try and make it better, but that really is how our testing goes this year. Within that window is also prom on May 10th. You'll learn more about that in a little bit. Then we have senior materials collection. Chromebooks only. For the Chromebooks and chargers, those will be collected through a homeroom on May 24th. I'll talk a little bit more about materials collection later. And then all other materials, anything that is not a Chromebook, textbooks, books that you checked out from the Media Center, calculators, anything that is not a Chromebook and charger needs to be turned in by May 14th through the class that it was checked out from. If it came from the Media Center, it goes right to the Media Center. If it was from an English class, it goes to the English class, and so on. A few other key dates. That last week for seniors is a very busy week. We have senior awards night that Monday night, the 20th. Any student who is going to be getting an award will receive a separate email making sure that you know that your child is up for an award, and we're encouraging you to attend that special evening. We have sorry, it looks like Ms. Shapiro got unmuted for a second. 1 second. Okay, thank you. We have the athletics, the IB Senior Awards is on the 21st. Then the athletics senior night is on the 23rd. And then, as I said, that last day for seniors is the 24th. That will also be our mandatory graduation rehearsal. This is an important change from previous years. The rehearsal will be on that last day for seniors. It is not the day before graduation or 2 days before graduation. It is on that last day for seniors, which is a school day. It is mandatory for all seniors. If you are planning to participate in graduation, they will need to be at that rehearsal. That is also when they will receive their cap and gown and other items. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Graduation is then on June 10th at 9 a.m. So those are your key dates coming up. All of that will be on the class of 2024 information page. Ms. Petro, it is your turn.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Madison Petro. I am the class of 2024 sponsor. So I have been working with the students since their freshman year. I get to work with them almost every day, planning the fun events that we've had since freshman year. And now officially finally working on kind of our last big event, which is prom. They're really, really excited to show kind of what they've been planning. So just want to speak a little bit about that. As Rebecca mentioned, prom will be Friday, May 10th this year from 8 to 11 p.m. and be very aware, and I think definitely make sure your students know that no one is admitted after 9:30 p.m. So even if they purchased a ticket, the last call for anyone to enter is 9:30. It will be at Pinstripes this year. Again, this is a new venue. We're really excited about it. A lot of different spaces for different people. So I know some people maybe don't love dancing. So we have bowling, bocce, a lot of different stuff that's happening at the venue. So that will be in North Bethesda or Rockville. We are going to be announcing the theme tomorrow. The senior SGA class has kept it a secret, and we're going to do kind of a big unveil tomorrow to all the seniors. So hopefully they're excited about that. Overall dress for prom, most students wear gowns or dresses. So I think most of the time I see some long dresses, some short dresses. So I don't really think it matters the length. Tuxes and suits. It doesn't have to be, gala fancy, but we do ask the students not come as they normally would on their school day, with their normal like flannel pajamas, hoodies, and headphones in, maybe dressing up a little bit more. It is a pretty formal occasion. Rebecca's going to be talking about after prom, which is run by PTSA, which we are not planning, but really encouraging people to go to. So if students are planning to go to after prom, they are more than welcome to change into more comfy clothes since they'll probably be there for a while. So if they are going to do that, they are allowed to bring a bag, but it must stay in the after prom bag area. So they can't be in and out of it during prom. We are going to, if they come into prom, take it and put it in a very specific area, and no bags beyond a small clutch. And Rebecca, maybe you could pop in on this because this is a question I don't know. Do you mean small clutch for the bag or small clutch for into prom?
Thank you for that. Small clutch into prom, and that's mostly to make sure if there are students who have a very specific need of sanitary products or an item that they need to have discreetly that does not fit into a dress. We don't want them to not be able to have access to that. But we also want to limit the number of things that make their way into prom. So just a small handheld clutch is all that's permitted to go beyond that bag area. Whatever they need for their after prom, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit, can be left in the after prom bag area. It just, the bigger bags cannot go into the prom.
Great. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so just a little bit more about prom. So all BCC seniors are invited to prom. It is not necessary to have a date or a guest. There will be plenty of seniors there. So no one needs to feel like they need to bring somebody. If your student is going to bring a guest, it is preferred that they purchase a ticket. If they're not going to BCC, they have to submit a BCC guest form. So we have to be aware of all of the guests that are outside BCC high school. It doesn't have to be anyone that is in the county as long as they are a school-aged guest, so in high school currently. If there is a specific request you're having, like email me about it and I will chat with you about that. But any school-age person can come as long as they obviously buy them a ticket. But again, they need to fill out the guest form so we know who is coming and so they can gain entry into prom. If the student does want to go with another person from BCC, please ask that they buy their tickets separately because all obligations need to be cleared in order to do that. So if we find that someone didn't clear their obligations, maybe they didn't turn a calculator in or something, and they have someone else buy their ticket, they won't be allowed into prom. So we're really asking that every ticket kind of be purchased separately unless it is an outside of the school guest, then you can purchase that, but make sure the guest form is filled out. And we are doing something a little bit new with ticket purchases this year. We are going to be selling them in person as well. So that is all cash sales. So if that would be easier, instead of doing the school cash online, if you think that would be easier and you want to send the students with the cash and you trust them enough to do that, it is $65 per ticket. And we are selling them during lunch, April 15th to April 24th. But you can also buy them online from April 15th to May 3rd. And that's through School Cash Online, so all of the past homecomings have been purchased through that. So if you purchased a homecoming ticket in the past, it would be the same thing for prom. Ticket price does include light food. So Pinstripes is providing a lot of appetizers, beverages, but it doesn't have like a full sit-down meal. So make sure to remind the seniors that they definitely want to eat something before coming, especially if they're going to be dancing and losing all that energy, essentially. And at the bottom, I think I did say this. Oh, sorry. Just to go back, all obligations, reminding, definitely need to be paid before. Okay, and lastly, just a reminder, all school events are drug and alcohol free. So students who are in possession of an illegal substance such as drugs or alcohol at a school-sponsored activity or under the influence of an illegal substance or who distribute an illegal substance will be subject to the school disciplinary consequences, including possible expulsion from graduations. Maybe they don't walk at graduation, or other activities to follow based on the student code of conduct. So just a reminder that it is drug and alcohol free. And I believe that is it about prom. So Rebecca's going to take us away with the after prom, which I did briefly mention.
Yes, thank you very much. So I have a slide here about after prom. Many high schools in the county have engaged in the tradition of after prom, and it's actually something that BCC used to do all the time before the pandemic. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, prom got put on hold, after prom got put on hold, and it's taken a little bit to get things back to what it was before, but we have a very passionate and engaged group of parents. I know a few of you are on this call right now, so thank you to those who have already been doing this work about getting after prom moving. I just dropped in the chat the after prom website and the after prom Amazon wish list. So after prom parties are a way to keep kids safe and having fun after the prom. And so the PTSA has worked with Pinstripes to extend the contract. So our prom will end at 11, and then from 11 to 3, it switches over to after prom. There will be some things that will continue, like the bowling and the bocce will continue, but they'll be bringing in elements that they'll have set up that won't be available during prom at all. So it will have a very different feel. It'll be two completely different events and exciting activities. The after prom will include additional games and thousands of dollars in prizes. There will be performances and things. There's a lot of really awesome things that they already have in the works, and I know that there'll be even more. We'll have some light appetizers. Pinstripes is going to change out the menu, and so once it switches over to after prom, there's a waffle bar and a chocolate fountain. There's going to be a money machine. I'm just looking at the list of all the things I know they've already worked on. It's free for all seniors, so they do not have to pay anything additional if they're already there at the prom. And right now, even if they aren't going to the prom, there is a way to still go. And that will be all coming out shortly on the after prom website. So please do consider contributing money. There's a QR code for that, or helping with the after prom wish list with the prizes. There's a QR code for that as well. The links are in the chat. They are also on the class of 2024 information page already, and this presentation with all of this will be shared with all of you. The PTSA is seeking parent volunteers as well as donations. So please reach out to them. I know there's already quite a good group going with, and there was a wonderful social event recently where a bunch of y'all got together to talk about it. We really want to help make it a very safe and fun night for our students, and I'm excited for the work they've done to bring this event back. So please consider volunteering or contributing to help make this happen. And now I will pass it over to Ms. Shapiro.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I'm going to be talking about the senior materials collection. It's really imperative that we are able to collect all of the materials before the last day. Because we need to make sure there's students don't have obligations going into graduation. So all classroom materials will be collected on May 14th. Chromebooks and chargers return to homerooms on May 24th. So we understand, excuse me, that students have exams during that time. And if they need to hold on to their Chromebook, then we can make those arrangements. But otherwise, everything is returned to homerooms on May 24th. All textbooks are returned to the teacher for that subject area. Media center materials must be returned to the media center. And students who do not return their materials will be issued an obligation. And then students with outstanding obligations on May 24th will not receive their cap and gown until the obligation is cleared. So they will have to pay all their current financial obligations through School Cash Online, and you will receive an additional notification in addition to the one Ms. Sutton said went out today when the obligation has been added to your account. And please make sure that all senior surveys are completed prior to the May 24th graduation rehearsal. And that is something that all seniors must complete. Thank you.
Okay, graduation rehearsal and some more information about graduation. First of all, hi, I'm Dan Janis. I'm your graduation coordinator this year. We have just some recaps of some things that you've already heard. Obligations by May 24th. I'm told that some notifications went out this morning. Some paper materials went home with students today. I can tell you that I have a homeroom of seniors, and whenever we have homeroom, I also get obligation papers for them. You may be surprised, some book from 9th grade that you forgot about, it might even be sitting in a drawer somewhere, and you can bring it back and that will clear the obligation, or you just pay for it and then you have the book. But that must be done by the 24th. We will withhold your cap and gown. We will basically you'll come to the rehearsal and we'll just give you the obligation paper. We won't give you anything else. So please make sure that that's taken care of by the 24th. The rehearsal is also on the 24th. That is the last day of school for seniors. There was a question in the chat about, what happens if I'm not there or if I skip out because it's the last day. It is still a legal day of school. Everyone is still expected to attend. We are also releasing the seniors immediately after the rehearsal, so they do get the rest of that day and then off into the sunset for them. So they start in homerooms. Please make sure they are on time to school that day. And it is mandatory for all graduates. We don't really have a defined sick day plan or anything like that. I will give the brutal honest truth that it is one day that is mandatory that sets the stage for the entire graduation ceremony. Obviously, if something comes up the day of, if it's an emergency, that student and that family will reach out to me and reach out to Ms. Bonner, and we'll have to come up with something together. But please ensure that the students are in the building on that day to participate in the rehearsal. That's the day they will get their cap and gowns. That's the day they will get any other certificates or honor cords or things that they need. The rehearsal is not in Baltimore. I saw that question as well. The rehearsal is at school. We're going to practice in our own auditorium. And then, of course, in Baltimore on the 10th. If you still need to order a cap and gown, I'm going to give you a gift today for joining this Zoom meeting. In the chat right now is the direct link that takes you to exactly the cap and gown package that you need. If you go to the Herff Jones website just by itself, they're going to try and sell you a bunch of different things. All you need is exactly what I posted in that link. It's the $49 something official cap and gown unit. That is the only required item. Of course, you're welcome to purchase anything else that you'd like, but that is the bare minimum. And we can go to the next. Okay, so June 10th, 9 a.m. at UMBC. I will start with some good news, which is that if you have experienced the last few years of graduation and you may have been frustrated by some caps on how many tickets we're able to offer, I can say that we can offer now 6 tickets per senior. And I have it on good word that the ticket exchanges through the PTSA are going to be a little bit more successful this year. It's a much, much larger venue. We are fortunate to be there, and many other MCPS schools participate there as well, and they get glowing rave reviews. It's a wonderful staff over at UMBC. I've spoken with them a few times now. They take care of everything nuts and bolts. They have wonderful seating. We're going to live stream and film the graduation. There's professional photos taken. I mean, all you really need to do is just show up and enjoy. So 6 tickets now, which is a significant increase from years past. And of course, if there's additional ticket needs, or if you're going to return a couple of tickets because you don't need all 6, those can all go through the PTSA. Parking is free, and there will even be some bus transportation. We're working on the details for that. We still have to book the buses, but we do plan to have some bus transportation available from the school up to the venue. And I'm going to just quickly, while I have the mic, I'm reading some questions now. How do we order a cap and gown? You can please use that link that I just posted in the chat. Don't see the link. Oh, you know why? Because I sent it
Dan,
to...
Ms. Shapiro posted it.
I
You're good.
resent it. We're good.
There you go. Zoom will let you send it to only the panelists for some reason, as if we need that feature. So now you should all have it. Is it the same cap and gown as 2016? No, we switched over to the navy blue color, I believe in 2020. So it is the same cap and gown from 2020 onward. And yes, you are permitted to use those. The only things that are different are, I believe, the tassel, which you can order separately through Herf Jones. I think it's about $10. Let's see. You know what? If there's more to do, I'm going to comb through. We're getting a lot of questions here. Why don't I defer to the next individual and I can type some questions?
Thank you. I think our next section is actually questions. I'll start with the frequently asked questions. I do want to mention there have been some questions in the chat about graduation date and venue. We appreciate that feedback. We do take stakeholder feedback into account. In the past few years, as part of the vendor, like picking the venue and things like that, date is not something that is set by the schools or picked by the schools. We find out, and we found out actually earlier this year than in any year prior, when our graduation was. That's all tied to contracts and things that are handled from a central office level. So I do know there are concerns about the date, and we have really worked very hard for the things that are within our realm of control, like the graduation rehearsal, for instance. Based on the feedback we heard from many of you after the date was announced, we worked very hard to make our plans so that the rehearsal could be before the seniors even left for the school year. So we do take that feedback into account and do our best to meet the needs of our students and our families. I do know that there are some people unhappy about UMBC. I also know there are some people very, very happy about UMBC and the number of tickets that are included in there and the amount of free parking available as compared to other venues. So unfortunately, it is something that everybody has an opinion about it, and not one venue is not going to make everybody super excited. From an entire class of about 600 students, we have over 550 some graduates, and then all of their family and guests. So unfortunately, that's going to be the case for some people. But I have seen videos of many schools who have done their graduations there, and they look absolutely beautiful. I think it's going to be a really wonderful ceremony, and I really think everybody's going to have a good time being able to enjoy their seniors' success at that time. So I'm really looking forward to it. A few frequently asked questions from in advance of this meeting and just from previous years. Who do I go to about transcript questions? That is our registrar, Maureen Bonner, and also your seniors counselor. You can go directly to them. And so we really just kind of default all of those to our registrar. She's going to be your best point of contact. How does my student save items from my Google Drive? Mr. Beskowski, our media specialist, usually sends out an email somewhere shortly before testing with those step-by-step directions. There is a process to back up your Google Drive so that you won't lose access to those files. Please just tell your senior to look out for that. We will also share this information with them in their assembly tomorrow. And make sure they pay attention when those emails come out, because once they do graduate, it does get shut down and they will lose access. So we encourage them to do that backup before they have graduated. How do I buy a yard sign? That is a frequent question. That is actually not something that is run or put on by the school. That kind of popped up during COVID as a very popular practice. We have some 12th grade peer parents. I know that is something they have talked about. They've been mostly focused on the after prom and are always looking for volunteers to help with things. So please, if you're interested in yard signs, reach out to the 12th grade peer parents. I know some of them are looking at that, working on it, but that will be your best point of contact to work on that. Similarly, just to touch on the 12th grade peer parents, I did see in the chat just a quick comment that the default address on that link, there was a link shared for after prom to an Amazon wish list. That link should take you to the wish list, and the default address should be to the home of a senior peer parent who is helping with the organization. If you have any questions about after prom, please go to that after prom website, which was shared on there, or email postprom@bccptsa.org with more questions. That will be the way to find out what you need to know about after prom, about yard signs, anything that is put on by the PTSA. Another question, how do I sign my student up for Beach Week? We get that question every year. The Beach Week is not a school-sponsored activity. It is something that families arrange separately and do outside of school. It is not a PTSA activity. It is a completely separate activity. So we always include that is not, Beach Week is in no way, shape, or form school-sponsored. Other questions, how do I get extra tickets for graduation, and how do I donate tickets I will not be using? The BCC will distribute 6 tickets for graduating senior this year. It is an increase from previous years thanks to the venue. It would have been probably about 3 in the other previously used venues. So it's 6 this year. So we're hoping there won't be as many people that need tickets because we're giving so many more. That being said, usually the PTSA organizes a ticket swap and they send out information on their listserv closer to the event, where first they allow people who won't be using their extra tickets to indicate that they have extra to donate, and then they do a separate list for people who need extra tickets, and then they coordinate that exchange. We're very hopeful that with this venue this year, given its size, we will be able to make sure that every senior has their 6 tickets, and we're hoping that there won't be people feeling like family members are missing out. And I see a quick mention in the chat from one of our peer parents in the Q&A that the class of 2024 will definitely have graduation yard signs. Stay tuned. So all the more reason, get on that website, look for information about after prom, and reach out to the peer parents. They would love your help, and they will have more information for you. So that being said, that takes us to the end of the structured presentation. I'm going to quickly check in with each of our panelists and make sure that any themes of questions that they've been addressing have been touched upon. So I'm going to start back at the top with Ms. May. Were there any questions regarding end of year stuff for transcripts or grades and things like that that might need a counseling perspective again at the end?
Not so much, but I will keep looking as we wrap up for sure.
Excellent. Ms. Petro, anything prom related?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I already touched on the after prom questions which have come up. Please go back to that after prom website. It's in the chat and it will be in the presentation. And yes, there will be yard signs. Up next, I'll do Mr. Janis about graduation, and then Ms. Shapiro and I will take a quick look for questions about all the other stuff. Go ahead, Mr. Janis.
Yes, something that came up a few times in the chat. Just wondering if you've already ordered a cap and gown or not. I do have access to a list as of, I think it's up to date as of about a week ago. So if you ordered it more than a week ago and like to check, you can send me an email. I can check the list. And again, you have that link now in the chat that takes you directly to the package that you need. No additional things are required. You're of course welcome to have them, but just the cap and gown package is what you need.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna start and Ms. Shapiro chime in if you catch things I didn't. Senior materials collection, I know I mentioned that all other materials that aren't Chromebooks would need to be turned in by the 14th. There is one exception to that, which is if a student is taking an AP or an IB exam that occurs after the 14th, those classes will be allowed to keep their materials that they will need to get ready for those exams and turn them in after. So teachers submit obligations right after the 14th. They know if their subject area has a test after the 14th, and we know that they will not be submitting their obligations until after that exam date. Everybody that's not in an AP or IB class with a test after the 14th needs to turn their things in by the 14th. But if it's for an AP or IB class and they need it to get ready for the exam, they can keep it until their exam and turn it in once they have taken that exam. A few other pieces, just to reiterate, prom is at Pinstripes, and then that goes until 11, and then at 11 it switches from prom to after prom. So the PTSA has extended that contract. Same event, same venue, or sorry, 2 events, same venue. There's no need to transfer from one venue to the other. It's all taking place in the same location. Ms. Shapiro, were there things you caught that need to be elevated?
Nope, I think we covered everything that I saw in the chat. I mean, in the Q&A.
All right, so we'll just give it another second here because I think another question just came in. We need to buy just a new tassel. How do we do that? It's not obvious on the site. Mr. Janis, can you speak to the just the tassel if they have a cap and gown from a graduation since 2020 and they just need the tassel?
Yes, I'm looking myself. Here you go. Memory tassel. So I will shoot that link in right now. The Herf Jones website is not great at providing you with things that aren't really expensive.
And while Mr. Janis is doing that, one last thing in the Q&A, not actually Q&A, but really good for everybody to know. The donation link is correct for after prom. So it has been confirmed by some of the parents on this meeting. The donation link is correct. Please do support if you can. So thank you very much for that comment. And we look forward to supporting your students through the end of their senior year. As always, your administrators, your counselors, your teachers, this entire committee, we are available if you have questions or comments. All of this will be posted shortly. And if you think of things that you wish you had asked now and you forgot to, please shoot us an email, let us know what that is, and we will make sure to get back to you and give you the information you need. So with that being said, I think we are all done for this evening. Thank you all so much for your time and attendance for this meeting, and let your seniors know that they will hear a very similar presentation, but with a slightly different spin, plus a prom theme announcement tomorrow during third period. We don't want them to miss it. All right. Thank you all.